Y'all ready to go to some predictions?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead, and I need to circle up to it, where we are going to start off with the East Bay. We are going to go to Oakland, where we mentioned it already. They're going to have over 20,000 in attendance, and there's a good chance that number is going to get higher and higher and higher and higher as we still have 4 more days to go. As they're taking on a San Antonio team whom we have not talked about yet, but have been impressive to start this season. Meanwhile, Oakland, frankly, have not. They got a few more goals than I thought they would early on this season, but, it's yet to result in wins. Can Oakland put on a show and get a win in Oakland Coliseum in front of 20,000 plus? John.
Well, my lock pick for the week is San Antonio winning this game. I hate to say it for Roots fans, and it's less of a reflection on them. I was waxing poetic about this organization, but I'm really bought in on San Antonio. I think the press is unbelievable. What you're getting with LaCava and Pacheco on the wings is ridiculous. Cronulla and Tainer might be the best center back pair in the league. Too much momentum from the San Antonio side here.
And John, you had mentioned it in your Back Four article this week. They have only allowed 0.7 XG for San Antonio across 2 games. I mean, they stifled Bob Lilly's Pittsburgh Riverhounds this past week in their 2-0 victory. Like, this is, by XG standards, the current best team in USL Championships defensively. I really think San Antonio is going to win this one as well. They've actually never lost to Oakland historically. And if we're looking at the just fun anecdote, the previous tenants of this stadium, the Raiders lost their first game in the Coliseum. The baseball team who shall not be named lost their first game in the Coliseum. So the Roots have the chance, if they win this weekend, to be the first team to ever win their debut match in this stadium. But I'm backing San Antonio.
I mean, that's an incredible grab stat-wise, so shout out to that one, Ryan. Hey, as that one movie said, how can you not be romantic about baseball, right?
Put some respect on Field of Dreams here, buddy. Which is actually Moneyball. Wait.
It is Moneyball. It is Moneyball. Yeah. So... all right, Mr. Movie Guy.
Yeah, here I am. I know.
But yeah, so it's hard for me to pick against Oakland, and I'm not going to tell you anything about stats. I'm not going to tell you anything about tactics, because if I did, I would convince myself of San Antonio winning. But there's just something about a community coming together behind the Roots. 20,000 plus, all there for Oakland. It feels too big to fail. I love what they're doing. I think that this is going to be a huge moment, and not just club history, but kind of USL history as well. And I think that this is going to be a win for the Oakland Roots. Also, I don't allow myself to pick draws, which might be the bigger part of this. So, next one, the first ever match. Well, second ever match. Ryan, this is a quick stat grab for you to find. It may not be possible. I don't know how many teams have played their first played their first ever match in the US Open Cup. But Texoma plays their first ever league match coming up against Knoxville, whom Knoxville we saw coming back from a 2-0 deficit against Spokane. Texoma, as we talked about in the pre-match preview, did not even have like 11 players on the roster for a long time. They do now, but there is a big uphill to climb there. Right, John?
Looking a bit shaky tonight against Foro. You're seeing them in a back 3, trying to get Pepe and Spengler involved up front. I don't know if you can read too much into that, given that the Open Cup is weird and bizarre. But Knoxville looked so composed defensively. They've got the weapons offensively if they want to bring them off the bench or give them the start this time out. Soft lean towards Knoxville getting the win here.
I've actually backed Knoxville for this one. Kaylor, you had mentioned that it was for the longest time Texoma didn't have 11 players on the roster leading into the year. I mean, they currently don't have 11 players on the field right now for their Open Cup match. I was very encouraged by what Knoxville did last week against Spokane to come back from 2-0 down. I think they get the win here, and it continues the trend that was started by Alta of these expansion teams aren't winning their opening games in USL League One. So I've locked Knoxville.
I've also decided to take the lock with Knoxville. Texoma, listen, I hope you shock me. I hope you come out there and just really do some great things. But the team, I don't think has had long enough to gel. And when you go against a team that we kind of saw this week of great teams who had not played together yet, playing against teams who have just that 1 week of match experience, they came out hot. And I'm going to continue that trend where One Knox has that one match underneath them. Texoma does not. It's a win for Texoma. Knoxville, my bad. And then lastly, we're going to go back to Brooklyn, but it has not been a good run for them. We talked about them already. And this is a Dallas team that just demolished them 6-0, if I remember right. Like this was a mammoth blowout. So do you think there's any chance that Brooklyn can, reverse their fortunes a bit?
No, not really. I see what Brooklyn did in that match. I see their performance against Fort Lauderdale over the weekend. The dynamic hasn't changed, and I don't necessarily think that Jess Silva is going to rip up the tactical blueprint. Maybe Brooklyn surprises me, but yeah, going Dallas here.
Yeah, I've picked Dallas to win this one as well. What I'm really looking for out of Brooklyn for this one is to score their first goal in 5 hours of match play. But I just think Dallas, just coming off the momentum of that 6-0 victory that they had a few weeks ago, is going to kind of carry through to this match and get the victory. Oh, and Kaylor, you were asking me to check the stats. The Northern Colorado Hailstorm played a U.S. Open Cup match 3 days before their first USL League One match.
How did those results turn out for them? Just curious.
The Hailstorm upset the Colorado Springs Switchbacks back in 2022, and then they had a 1-1 draw with Richmond. Both games were on the road.
Good luck to Texoma. Maybe there is an upside for you. Yeah, for Brooklyn and Dallas, this is an unfortunate situation where I get into this idea of just blindly trust it until I don't, or I don't trust it until I do. And Brooklyn was in my trust it until I don't. And I don't trust it. Until I see an upturn, and maybe they return the favor. Maybe they win this match 5-0, 6-0, and everything's evened out in the end. We say, oh, there's the Brooklyn we know and love. But until I see it on the field, I just don't believe it's going to happen. I'm taking Dallas.
Yeah.
How about, do we have any final USL thoughts for the night?
I'm just gonna plug Backheeled because I'll probably have a Pro Roll article up tomorrow. So go subscribe or whatever.
It's worth the money. You should do it. Also, I know people don't like paying for things, but if you like good quality journalism, you should sub. Also, I mean, not just that, but we found out that Pro Roll is happening via The Athletic, a paid subscription.
If you're one of the people who posts the full text of an Athletic article in a Reddit thread, I hope you go to jail. That's all I got.
Fair. It's like $1, right? It's $1.
When they're constantly running specials, so it costs nothing if you're clever.
Yeah, and then Backheeled is $8, and it's worth it. I don't listen. I'm gonna be honest, and I know you plug everybody else's stuff, John. I'm just gonna be completely honest. I have nothing with Backheeled. I wasn't invited to do anything. It's fine. I'm not cool. But I don't read anything that's not USL, right? Right. I don't read the U.S. national team. I don't read the MLS stuff. I just don't. It's not something that really interests me. But it's the best USL written content out there, and you should pay for that. It is so good.
Appreciated.
It helps buy
and
John
also
the coffee that will keep him up tonight to write that article.
Yeah, right.
Or the Red Bull.
yes. Ryan, do you have any final USL thoughts?
Just everyone for Oakland, enjoy the day out there. It's been really fun to just see the entire club grow, and it just reminds me that I still own this Oakland Roots blanket.
Yeah.
Love it. I guess final USL thought for me. I started obviously doing the corner kick and free kick thing. Just this week we had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 free kicks and corners. By the way, direct free kicks that go straight into the net from the shot does not count. I'm talking about actual set piece plays. We had 14 of those just last week. And you can tell which teams have invested in set piece coaches and actually take time to invest in their set pieces, because it's like you can tell just by watching them. And this is just another moment for us just to talk about how good Charleston is. Cal Jennings gets his brace for them because of 2 set pieces. When I went and watched Charleston training, Ben Pierman and Ben Clemens both told me you can film anything except for set pieces. Like, that is Ben Pierman's baby, and you can tell because it got them 2 goals versus Rhode Island. That is just good stuff. You can tell which teams care about it. It's making a big difference.
Lou City was first in the league by a country mile on corner kick production last season, and it's the underrated reason why they marched to the Players' Shield. It's massive, and the best teams all recognize that value. So I think that's why your project is so cool this year, Kaylor.
Also, it got mentioned, Foro does take the lead. This could be the first USL team knocked out if Texoma does not figure it out.
Oh, and one other USL one. I laughed at the choice of gift from Raising Anchor on Blue Sky to do the Rocket Raccoon with the blaster, or for their kind of recap of the match. I thought that was clever. Results aside for Rhode Island.
Hey, welcome back, Pedro 2025. I can't believe we got this long.
Oh, so good. I'm glad that's just a thing. Makes
me so happy.
Listen, someone please let Ben sell raccoon merch. Just only raccoon merch. If you can just give me a raccoon hat,